What's going on? How you doing? Welcome to the replay. Welcome to Daily Fuel. My name is Bobby, and I am the host of this group. I like this group. The group looks back to normal today. I don't know if you noticed yesterday, a funny thing happened across Facebook. Some glitch happened in not every Facebook group, but a lot of them, where if you went to the group, it would show posts from the day the group started first. It like reversed everything. And so every group said, the admin, the first post was like, so and so Bobby Donahue created the group. And then the first posts of the group. And it was like some of them went all the way back to like 2015, 2013, and it was just every group, because every group admin I know went, ah! We were like, what the fuck is going on here? It was insane. Because I belong to a group for group admins. And everybody's like, what is going on? What? So apparently I woke up this morning and it was fixed. So good. Wasn't the end of the world. But, your ego goes nuts and imagines all kinds of things. What if groups don't work anymore and nobody will come and what I built this whole thing for nothing? It's like your ego just wants to go insane with stuff. So anyway, if you're in the replay, let me know you're in the replay. Hashtag I like you, Bobby. I like you a lot. You're really cool. I want to see those hashtags. I need to see those hashtags. And if you're joining me live, you can comment. You can comment the whole time that I'm talking, and I'm going to ignore the comments in a few minutes. But then I'm going to read my spiel, and then I'm going to come back when I'm done with that, and I'm going to read all your comments. But first, let's see who's here. Christina is here. Hey, Bobby and company. Hello, Christina. Nice to see you. And Deb is here. Hello, Bobby and company. Okay, cool. Hello, Deb. Nice to see you. And click. There we go. Yeah, I like hearing the clicks. And Dulcie is here. Hi. Always nice to see you on Daily Fuel. Hi, Bobby. Hi, everyone. See, you haven't been here in a while, and still you know the proper procedure for our salutations in Daily Fuel. You say hello to me, and then you say hello to everybody else. That's how we do it. So good for you. Bonus points for you. Robin, good evening, Bobby, and good evening to everyone. There you go. And Robin gives me flowers, so she just gets bonus points every day. Thank you, Robin. And Nathan's here. Hey, Bobby. Hello to all. And hashtag LOL. And who else is here? Thank you, says Dulcie. Okay, great. We're done with you people. I'm going to start now, and then I'll come back. You guys can keep commenting. I'm going to come back, and I'll read them at the end. I want you to like me. Please. What was her name? I just thought of this. The one at the Oscars. They like me. They really like me. Sally Fields, right? Field or Fields? Whatever. You know what I mean. Anyway, anyway, I want you to like me. Everybody likes to be liked. People want to be liked, whether it's in friend relationships or romantic relationships or business relationships or any kind of thing where there's you and another person. You want to know that they like you, because when you know that they don't like you, that doesn't feel good, and we kind of take it personally. One of the group members, Karina, answered my post from a couple weeks ago, like, what is the biggest lie that your ego tells you? And she said that others dislike me. The ego wants me to care about that, and that makes me feel unworthy. So, and that's kind of what happens, is that I feel like there's a couple of things going on here. For some people, when you feel like other people don't like you, that just makes you uncomfortable. And for some other people, we kind of know, like, I shouldn't care if they like me or not. Not everybody's going to like me. But the fact that I want them to like me, and the fact that I feel like I care a little bit, now I'm beating myself up about that. I shouldn't do that. Well, I think it's normal to care. It's just, I think, to the degree to which you care that we need to be careful about. So maybe you do care, and maybe you don't care, but you're beating yourself up because you feel like you care a little bit. So that's what we're talking about. So I have 3 things to say about this today, besides everything that I've already said. So the first, these are 3 ways that I think that we go Oh, somebody wrote, "We like you, Bobby," but it's a Facebook user. I need to know who this is. It's it's Nina. Hi, Nina. Oh, we like you too, Nina. Thank you very much. That's a great comment. All right, now I'm not reading the comments. Okay, but I happened to look down and saw "We like you, Bobby," so I had to stop the show and read that one aloud. So thank you, Nina. Um, but Nina, you got to click that Ecamm link because this is all I see on my screen. I see Facebook user. I can't see you, but I know I like you anyway because you said that. So anyway, let me back to what I was saying. Stop interrupting me. So it's not three things really to say about it, but I think that it's three things that people do when they feel like they want people to like them. And the first two I'm going to go through are things that I suggest we not do, and then the third one is the thing I suggest we do. So the first one is when we ingratiate ourselves. That means you're sort of like putting yourself out to get them to like you. A lot of times this might be like you're a brown nose or a yes man or something like that. But basically the idea is that you start to put their needs before your needs to make them happy so that they'll like you. And we do this in all kinds of relationships. By the way, everything that I'm talking about today runs the gamut of the kinds of relationships. You and any other person in any circumstance, we have the capacity to do this. Certainly there are different motivations for doing it. In business, for example, we might want the monies, we might want the client, so we do some of these things to get the client. But in personal relationships, you might want a family member to like you more, or even just approve of you. It might not even be like, "Hey, I like you." It might be like their approval or their support, things like that. And then, of course, there's the typical romantic relationships where I just want that person to like me, So there's things like that. But in all of these cases, we can certainly, and I know I've done it in lots of different kinds of relationships. I'm sure we've all done it at some point where we ingratiate ourselves to this person. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a little extra nice to somebody. Maybe you like a person, or you're courting a new client, or whatever the case may be. Obviously, you're going to be on your best behavior. You're going to be a little bit nicer than you might be if you were just walking down the street and you passed by a stranger. I punch them in the face when I don't like them. But could you imagine that? Do you ever want to do that? You just see somebody, you just want to punch them in the face for no reason. I've never done it, but sometimes you just kind of wanna. But don't do that. The people don't like that, and you get in trouble. But so you have this thing where, but we can go too far, and we can ingratiate ourselves to them, and we can start to change our behavior, and really what it is you're putting their needs before your needs, and that's only hurting you and them, really, because you're not really giving them an opportunity to like the real you. You're trying to be what they need, so that based on what you think they need. And really, though, who likes that? Nobody likes that. People who like that aren't really worth having it's not worth them liking you. It's not worth getting it from people who like that, people who require that, like people who require you to grovel at their feet, or people who require you to constantly put their needs before yours. They're not friends. They're not people you need in your life anyway. So that's number one. Don't do it. Don't ingratiate yourself to others. And we'll talk about what to do when we get to number three. Number two is kind of like that, but I think it's a little bit even more, is change yourself. A lot of times we might actually change who we are in some way, shape, or form. You might change the way you look. You might change the way you behave. Again, I think the reasoning is that we're trying to ingratiate ourselves to them. These two kind of go hand in hand, but the change part, I think, is it comes from where ingratiate is like, if I put their needs first, they'll like me more, But I think change is, the motivation's a little different. The motivation for changing yourself is, they don't like me, so there must be something wrong with me. I need to change who I am. That's kind of the difference between the two. They may look the same. You may do the same kind of behaviors, but the motivation behind them can be a little bit different. So sometimes you might, like I said, you might in business, for example, you might constantly be changing your strategies. You might put out an offer or do a sales call, and if it doesn't go well, you just immediately change your entire strategy behind how you do things, rather than just chalk it up to the fact that probably wasn't a good fit for you. That client wasn't a good fit for you. Or, in a romantic kind of relationship, maybe you feel like, well, they don't like this kind of clothing, so you change the way you dress, or you change your hairstyle or something like that to get them to like you, because you feel like there's something wrong with me. I need to fit in more rather than be me. Which leads me to number 3, of course. I mean, this really isn't a wild guess of where I was going with this. But number 3 is to like yourself. Start by liking yourself, because you're likable. You're certainly likable. And here's the thing that I think we all need to understand is that whether it's, again, relationships, romantic, business, your art as an artist, or anything like that, not everybody is going to be into you. They're just not. There are 7-point-something billion people on this planet, and not all of them are going to look at you and be like, that's awesome, I want to hang out with that. A lot of them are just going to be like, whatever, indifferent. Most people are indifferent, first of all. Some people actively won't like you, but who gives a crap? They probably are just miserable in the first place, and you don't need that. The thing I like about a Facebook group is that I can establish a clubhouse for myself and hang out here, and if people don't like it, they can go, they can leave, and no one's stuck here. It's a voluntary thing. Do you like me? Hang out with me. Do you not like me? Then go. Leave. I'm not begging anyone to like me here, except today when I said, please like me. Please like me. But it's like I say all the time, if you're showing your art to people, let's just use art as the metaphor here. If you're showing your art to people and they're like, I don't like that, you're not good enough for this, you're not good enough for that, then what do I say all the time? You're just showing your art to the wrong people. You have to put yourself in a position where the right people can find you. And they can't do that when you're constantly changing yourself or ingratiating yourself to others, because then your energy, you're not putting out your you-ness energy. Your you awesome energy is not going out. So the people who actually would like you aren't being attracted to you. Instead, you're attracting the wrong kinds of people who are just looking at you like, something seems off with you. Is this really who you are? Because, if it were, then maybe I would like you, but it doesn't seem like this suits you. Why are you wearing this? Why are you acting like this? Why are you in this business? Why are you selling this? Why are you acting like this? Why are you talking like this? Why are you in this place? You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like you fit. And so you're attracting people who are kind of hesitant to see if you're a fit for them. And the people who would be a fit for the real you aren't anywhere to be found because you're not announcing the real you. So I like to use the word lean into. Well, it's not a word, it's 2 words. I like to use the expression lean into. Lean into yourself more. Figure out who you are. Lean into that. Be more of that. It's scary. It can be scary sometimes because we're afraid of rejection. We are afraid of rejection because it again, rejection to the ego is death. If the ego is rejected, it doesn't have source to back up on. It doesn't have spirit to pat it on the back. The ego is it. It's the only thing it knows. And if people are going, ew, then it thinks it's worthless, and it's basically death. So here's the bottom line. You are all you got. You're it. So you have a choice. You can either put on your you clothes and your you outfits and your you hairstyle and your you personality and your you smile and go out there and be you and attract people who are like, that's cool, I like that. Because then you'll be surrounded by people who like you. Or you can look at the people who happen to be around you right now and change everything you possibly can to just get them to approve of you. it kind of seems silly when I put it like that. They just happen to be here. Who cares? Go somewhere else and be you, and let the people who really are into that find you. Now, by the way, there is nothing wrong with changing yourself. You can decide for yourself, you know what? I don't really like the way I dress, or I don't like the way I act, or I don't like the way I do this or I do that, or I don't like this kind of art, I like that kind of art. Anything about yourself is changeable. You are allowed to change it, but it comes down to the motivation. If you're changing it so that they will like you, then you're probably not being you. If you're changing it so that you're more comfortable in it and you like you more, that's great. Change for yourself. Ingratiate yourself to yourself. Be you. That's it. Okay, let's see what we got here. A lot of clicks. I got a lot of reading to do today. All right, let's see. Dulcie says, good subject. Let's just go back to this one a second. We like you, Bobby. That's Nina. Thank you, Nina. Dulcie says this is a good subject. I'm glad you like it. LOL. She's laughing at something. I was probably funny and charming and handsome, and she laughed. So there we got that. Robin, hilarious, wanting to punch someone in the face for no reason. Yeah, sometimes I say things like that. I'm just like, I am as non-violent a human being as I think is possible. I have been in exactly 0 fights in my entire life, except for, wrestling and punching stuff with my brother. But other than that, I have never hit or been hit by another human being in my entire life. And I've been in situations where violence was possible, where I could see the situation was escalating to violence. And I have always been able to deflate it through talking and remaining calm. Even though that little voice inside of me was like, man, I would just love to just knock you right in the teeth. It satisfies something, even though I know I would never do it, So I'm not a violent person, but occasionally I have violent daydreams and I'm just like, that feels good. All right, I like that. I don't know what that is. I need to psychoanalyze that one day, but not today. Boundaries. Yeah, you need to have boundaries. That's a good one. If you're ingratiating yourself, then you are basically saying or changing yourself so that other people will like you. You're basically telling yourself, I have no boundaries. And by the way, this is why we feel unworthy or worthless when we do this, because what you are doing is you think you're doing something to get them to like you so you'll feel better about yourself, but in reality what you're doing is you are telling the child ego inside, you suck, and look, we did this and we changed to this and we changed to that and they still don't like you. Boundaries allow us to say, this is the box that I live in. I know usually we're like color outside the lines and think outside the box kind of a thing, but boundaries in this case are actually a good thing, because it means that you're telling yourself things have to be in here in order for them to fit me. How about, instead of me trying to fit whatever happens to be outside of me within arm's reach, how about the new rule in my life is I'm going to decide whether that stuff fits in here. If it does, I'll let it in. If it doesn't, I'll just, pass it by. Maybe I'll punch it in the nose, but probably not, So you can decide it that way and just think like, does this fit for me? That's a really good question. I think a lot of times people will ask like, how do I get them to like me? But maybe a better question is, are they a good fit for me? Is this person a good fit for me? Is this situation a good fit for me? Is this client a good fit for me? Instead of changing to try to get it. Because usually when we're changing to try and get something, we're trying to get something that we really don't even want. What we want is for us to like ourselves. That's what we want. That's what we really, really want. The ego only wants you to say, it's okay. You're cool. You're awesome. The ego wants you to like them. Whew. We're really, all that from one word. Thank you, Dulcie. Glad you're here today. Robin, hang on, Robin. As soon as I see Robin on the screen, I need to take a drink of water before I read it. I think trying to get someone who doesn't like you to like you can be very endangering to you. Yeah. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Yeah, endangering is actually a good word for it. It might not put you in physical danger, but it will put you it will add stress. It will certainly add, all kinds of negative feelings and look, anything that adds stress to your life will endanger you because it just puts extra emphasis on your body's need to keep you safe. You feel unsafe. It's the fight or flight response, and we tense up. Right? When you think somebody doesn't like you and you're trying to get them to like you and you can't get them to like you or to do the thing you want them to do, no matter what song and dance you do, we tense up, and that literally adds stress, which is unhealthy for you. So yes, Robin, I would say that literally it is endangering you. Wow. Wanting people to like us to the point of people pleasing. People pleasing, yeah. We forget sometimes that not everyone will like us and that it's okay. It is okay. I'm learning not to be a people pleaser anymore. Good. I'm learning it's okay to let go of toxic people and that it's okay to say no and it's okay that not everyone will like me. That's right. I am learning to accept that as long as I continue to be myself, the right people will be in my life. I used to change myself to the point where I honestly thought I was having an identity crisis. I lost sight of who I was. I won't do that anymore. I am worthy of loving myself first, and then the latter will follow. That's really great. You love yourself first, and the correct people will follow. You make the art that you love to make, and the people who like that art will find you. You put the energy out into the universe that is authentic to you, and the people who resonate with that energy will flock to you. That's how it works. We know this. I'm not, I'm not. Have you ever heard of the law of attraction? This isn't something we don't know, but we don't remember to apply it to all these different aspects of our lives. And we realize, oh, yeah, I know this academically, but I don't realize that I'm behaving the opposite way that I should to practice it. Right? Good one, Christina. We love you, Bobby. Oh, thank you, Deb. I appreciate that. By the way, I hope you guys know that I'm joking around with this stuff. Like, I like people to like me, but it's not important that everybody does either. But I have this, you know how, like, you see celebrities or movie stars or TV stars, sometimes they'll play a distorted or weird or just off the wall version of themselves, like in that show, the bitch in apartment 21B or whatever it was called, Dawson. What was his name? I wish you people could talk back to me fast. Vanderbeek, Jason Vanderbeek, you know who I mean? Anyway, he played himself, but he played like a dick. Like he was just an asshole version of himself, like a really, really extravagant version of himself. And so the point is that sometimes I feel like when I'm doing Daily Fuel or I'm on a podcast or I'm doing something where I'm doing something publicly, I feel like I'm playing a slightly distorted version of myself. Like I'll just be like, I just want to punch him in the face. I've never punched anyone in the face. And when you see me in real life, I don't talk this much. I say more in Daily Fuel than I do the rest of the day combined. It's like, and the weekends too. I rarely say words the rest of the time. But, here, you would think I was a chatterbox. But thank you, Deb. I'm glad that you love me. Oh, thank God. I lived with someone for the past 5 years that went out of their way to dislike everything I was and did. Oh, that's what people pleasing and not having healthy boundaries did to me. No more. Yeah, and why? Because, you know what? I'm not picking on you, but I'm just going to use you as an example since you shared this. Why would that person dislike everything you did and was? Probably because you weren't even being yourself. If you're people pleasing, then your energy is off, and the people around you can tell. They can tell. That doesn't mean that was your fault. It's possible that person just wouldn't have liked anything and was just out to be, I don't know your situation, but I'm just saying that when we do that, we're always going to attract people who aren't going to like you regardless. Because the only people that will like you are the people that like you. And the only way that they can find you is if you are exuding you. We are attracted to energy. We are attracted to energy. You know what it's like when you meet somebody for the first time and you're just like, that person was awesome. I just resonated with them. We just clicked, right? You can't fake that. There's no way that happens. And that person was acting because they thought that's what you wanted. You can tell when somebody's acting like they come to a thing that's not their thing, and they're saying the words and they're doing the thing and they're acting the way, but it's just like, you don't fit here, like what are you doing here? This is wrong, and it's the same thing with any kind of energy. So they're just trying to get you to approve of them. I think that's what it is too, is we all want approval. They're trying to get you to approve of them, but we can tell that their energy is just not a match. And then the other person behaves accordingly. Of course, you don't have to be mean about it, that you could just be like, I don't think we're a match. That's what I would do. I don't think we're a match, and that's that. Right now, I miss my neighbors who used to like me. What do your new neighbors throw apples at you? Now my new neighbors don't really dislike me. They're just very quiet. And I see basically nothing from their comings and goings, which makes life fun in the neighborhood. Oh, it's just the way things are. Yeah, that's like if I were your neighbor, I swear to God, like we hang out on Daily Fuel and it's like, hey, let's hang out and stuff like that. If you lived next door to me, I would wave to you and that's about it. That's all you'd get out of me. I'm not the neighbor that goes and hangs out at the fence and talks and stuff like that. I'm the neighbor that gets caught in those situations where they're like, hey, you got a minute? And I'm like, I saw them outside and I went outside anyway. And now here I am standing at the fence going, are we done? I gotta go. I gotta take the kids somewhere. Goodbye. That's me. So Robin, you'd hate me as a neighbor. But maybe I would ingratiate myself to you and act all bubbly and outgoing at the fence, and you would know this guy's weird. But this isn't me acting. This is me letting me out of the cage. The rest of the day, I'm down here by myself. I don't have anyone to talk to anyway. So come hang out with me. That'd be cool if you guys were all hanging out in the room. Haha, I'm weird as shit. LOL, who's down to be friends? Who's that? Who is that? Where am I? Wow, that's a lot. I got a lot of comments to get to. Haha, I'm weird as shit. Crimson, didn't I tag you in the thing? You got to click that link for me, please. But it's okay if you don't. I'll just have to figure out who it is. Oh, no, wait. Here's another one. Is that also you? I should have looked ahead. It's haha, I'm weird as shit. LOL, who's down to be friends? And Donna Marie, glorify in my weirdness. How come you guys aren't showing up in the thing? You used to. If you guys could do me a favor and click that Ecamm link again, I would appreciate it. Otherwise, I see this. Yeah. My friend Landon, who I speak of often, he used to run a Facebook group, and he had an expression in it: "Let your freak flag fly." And that's a really hard thing to say. I like the sentiment of it. I don't like the words. But let your freak flag fly. And also be your weird ass self, as he used to say all the time. That one's better. Be yourself. Just be yourself. And you know what happens too is the people you're trying to ingratiate yourself to, even if they're not your people, after all of that, a funny thing happens when you're around somebody who's being themselves. You just respect them for being themselves, and it's like you like being near them because they're not being fake. Fake people are off-putting. It's not gross. It doesn't have to be anything really bad. It's just that there's a what's the opposite of resonation? When there's there's a disharmony, there's a discord, and it feels weird. It's like, ugh, there's something wrong here, But when you're around somebody who is themselves, right? Whether you're into their thing or not, there's something cool about it. It's like it doesn't mean you have to be eccentric and weird and wild, but just the fact that you are being more yourself, it exudes confidence. And confidence in any personality type, any spectrum of anything, confidence is attractive. It just is. And even if you're not attracted to any other thing about that person, the fact that they are confident being that thing is attractive. And you're just like, I respect that. I like that. I like being around you for that. I don't want to hang out with you and do that shit, but I like you. That's really, really cool. You know? Ha ha, and we already are. Ha ha, me, and we already are. Ha ha, me. I don't know what that means. This is an example of I probably said a thing. You wrote that in response to the thing I said. Everybody who read it in the moment went, ha 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 ha. And then I read it an hour and a half later and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I have no idea. So I'm just going to skip it. Robin says, I like to see action. This is why Robin writes essays, because she has to make sure I have all the context in place. She's been around the block on Daily Fuel enough times to know. Like, she can't just give me one word comments anymore. I like to see action around the neighborhood, but it's just not happening. No fault of anyone. It's just so quiet. No children like many years before, all grown up and moved away. Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. When I was growing up, I grew up in like one of those Levittown towns. It was the town next door to Levittown, Hicksville, but everybody knows Levittown. And it was just one of those neighborhoods with like quiet suburban streets and everything. And it seemed like every other house on my block had young kids, and we were all like within 3 to 5 years of each other, and if you were much younger than me, you were my brother's age, and somehow we all just hung out together every day. And there were like 20 of us, and the kids from around the corner would come and hang out on our block, and that's what it was like. And we would just play in the street because cars never came down the street very often. And then I moved. Now I live here, and my children grew up in this house, and this house is in the town, I guess, is kind of like that, but the street we live on is kind of a busy street. It's like the artery of the town. It's like it's the street everybody takes to get from the main road to their house, and they drive past my house at like 60 miles an hour. So that's another reason I don't know my neighbors, is because our houses aren't on top of each other, and in order to get to their house I have to walk down the street, and it's just like, I'm not going to your house. But it's there are no kids running around my neighborhood is what I'm trying to say. So which was strange to me when we moved here. I'm used to it now, and now my kids are older, so I don't really care anymore. Nathan's here. I'm scared of me. I can be a little bit crazy. Yeah, well, I think I know where you're going with that, but you seem like a cool guy to me. I know you aren't a violent person. That's why it was so funny. Okay. Agreed. See, here's an example. I said something smart, and Dulcie agrees with me. I'm working on this every day, and now my life is improving. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's great. We can all work on this all the time, and you can catch yourself doing it. By the way, I do it sometimes. I've been guilty of this. It's it happens sometimes. You don't realize it because sometimes we have motivations. We want them to like us. It's not just an ego thing where I just want them to like me. I want everyone to like me. It's not always that simple. Sometimes in business, for example, it's I really want to get a client, and here's the first person that's interested in hiring me. I just want them to hire me, and then you do whatever song and dance you can to get the check. And meanwhile, it's like if you were really honest with yourself, maybe they weren't a good fit for you, because you know what it's like when you're talking to somebody in a business deal and you guys are resonating, and it's just like, I want to work with you. And then with other people, it's kind of like, well, you're writing a check, so I guess I'll say yes and I'll do the job. It can be like that, but it can also be in personal stuff too. Like you just, you want to meet somebody to go on a date or something like that, and somebody's around and you're trying to just get them because they're at work with you, and you just want, you know what it's like? It's like I went to school. When I went to college, first I went to engineering school, and it was a very small school. There were only about 400 or 500 students in the entire school. and about 11 of them, I think, were girls. Right, the rest it was all guys. And so when you're in a situation like that, where there's very few people around you to choose from, for a romantic possibility. 11 girls, 8 of them had boyfriends from high school that are just like, my boyfriend is it? And we're all going, oh, shut up, and then so like when you're talking to one of them, suddenly they become so attractive because there's nobody else around. It's the same thing if you ever watch The Bachelor. I always find that show fascinating, The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, because you have the person who's the person, right? The main one, the bachelor or the bachelorette. And then you have the 25 people who all want this person to love them. And within 3 weeks, all of these people, whether it's all the guys or all the girls, they're like, I'm in love with her. I want to have a life with her. And it's like, no, you don't. You're locked in a room and she's the only one. She's the only person you're even allowed to talk to. They're not allowed to look at their phones. They're not allowed to talk to home. They're not allowed to watch the news or watch TV. They have to be inundated in this thing. And so now, because that's all they have, they just become infatuated with it. And so many, that's why so many of them break up. It's like they finally, they love me and we're together, and they go out in the real world and they're like, what the hell was that? I feel like I was brainwashed. Like all of a sudden you see there's other people again, and there's other options and other opportunities. So I feel like sometimes we are in situations where our options are limited. So our ego says, I need that. Wow, this is a different Daily Fuel. I need that thing because your ego thinks this is the entire world. So we want them to like us. Wow, Daily Fuel number 2. There you go. You got two for today. It's okay to say no. Did I say that? I don't remember if I read this. No, I did not. It's okay to say no. Yeah, it's totally okay to say no. This goes back with Dulcie's Boundaries one a minute ago. Let's see. Nathan, I have tamed my beast, and I just don't know what to unleash my beast on. I used to fight all the time. Like literally violent fights. So if you have violence, okay. Boy, dude, you're really good at making comments that bring me off on a tangent that I wasn't prepared for. I don't want to just talk out of my ass about it. That's a really interesting one. I think sometimes that we can get very frustrated and behave in ways that aren't authentic to us. I don't think that anybody in this world is authentically violent. Violence is usually a physical manifestation of, not usually, I think it always is a physical manifestation of us being completely pinched off or disconnected from our true source, because source is not violent in any way, shape, or form. Source is pure love. And when you are connected to pure love, you wouldn't want to inflict violence or start violence or anything. So when I have that feeling like, I just want to punch somebody in the face, that's just because that's my way of unleashing steam, because I am feeling that pinched offness in myself, and mentally I can just imagine that, just going poof and feeling that. If I did that in real life, I would immediately regret it, and that feeling would go away instantaneously, and I would be like, I would just be like a puppy dog trying to help this person that I hurt, and meanwhile they'd be like, why'd you do that, dick? It's like that's it. So the violent tendencies are disconnectedness. So I don't think that you have a beast inside you that needs an outlet. I think what you're trying to say, if I may, I keep saying things to you and you keep showing up, so I'm gonna take more liberties if you don't mind. I would say that you probably have a lot of passions inside of you that don't have an outlet, and they don't need to be physically violent. They don't need to be drugs or anything self hurting. I can't think of the word I wanted, but you know what I'm saying. It maybe, though, it could be physical exertion, like a kickboxing class, or join a boxing club and literally punch people. But in that case, it's not anger violence. It's letting out the steam. We're allowed to do things like that. Thanks for that comment, by the way. You always give thoughtful and vulnerable comments, Nathan, and I appreciate that. A lot of friendships, Deb says, are based on conditional love. Yes. I prefer to surround myself with those that get me and are truly supportive, not based on what they can get from me. Yeah, a lot of times, this is a good point. You know, a lot of times, what happens is we have relationships like a parent or a sibling or a spouse or somebody that we're not going to just be like, oh, you're not the right person for me, I'm going to move on. It's like I'm not moving on from this person. They're here. You know, they're not somebody that I met. They're not a potential client or something. It's my mom, So and we want their approval. We want their love. We want it, And there's nothing wrong with wanting it. The problem is that sometimes that person can flip the script and only show it to you on certain conditions. So it's not that we're changing to get them to love us. They're teaching us that the only time I do love you is when you dance for me. And not even every time. Sometimes you'll dance for me and I still won't give it to you. And that'll confuse you. And I don't care because I actually don't like you. Is what they're saying. So, yeah, Deb, conditional love. If somebody is giving you conditional love, and that can be in any kind of relationship, including business. I have clients, I don't have them anymore, but I have had clients in the past who loved me if I would do them favors. Like, hey, I'm paying you to do this thing, but can you do these 57 other things as well? You can? Great. I like you. You can't? Well, now I don't like you and I want my money back. And whenever I was in a position where giving them their money back was too difficult, I may have ingratiated myself to them and been like, no, it's okay, I can do that too, it's fine. Let's just keep the project going. Let's keep this job going. It could be any kind of relationship where these are the parameters of our relationship, and I like you within it, but I also need you to do these other things for me that aren't really part of a normal relationship that we would have. And if you do them, I'll like you. And if you don't do them, I won't like you. And if you do them, I may still not like you sometimes. And it's that's toxic, And it could even be that the person is narcissistic. But there are so many different ways you can approach this. This is why I limit it to 3, because I think of more than 3. I'm smarter than 3 things. But man, we can just talk about this for all weekend, and I don't want to because I want to go have pizza with my son. My wife went away for the weekend with her sister, and my daughter, as you know, is away at college, so it's just my son and me. And so we're going to do boy night tonight. We're going to get a pizza and watch a Wes Anderson movie. I'm pretty psyched. Hi Donna, how you doing? Morning, lovely people, but especially Bobby. See, Donna gives my favorite salutation. Donna is like the tricky one who's like, hi everybody, especially Bobby. Like that's everybody else says me first, and that's good, and then everybody else. I like that, Donna. Thank you very much. Donna likes me. And that's why I like Donna. If she didn't do it, I wouldn't like her. Donna, I hope you saw the rest of this video and got the context of that joke, because you know that I love you. Button required. Okay. Ray is reminding me to take breaths on occasion. Occasionally, oxygen is probably good. She could probably see that my face is turning blue and I'm talking like this. Hi, I'm here. Goodbye. I don't know what this is, but I like them. Let me see. That's funny. What is that all about? Where are you? Hi, I'm here. Oh, that's Donna Marie. Hi. That's hysterical. Bye. Oh, Mikey's here. Wow, that's a cool picture, dude. Look at you. If you love yourself and your art, it will come across, whether it's to everyone's taste or not. Art captures a moment, and if that moment is real, it will resonate at one time or another to one person or another. Yeah, and that's why I always say thank you for that, Mikey, and that's part of why I always say that you are the artist and you are the art you create. Think of yourself as a piece of art. It's going to resonate with people. It's just not going to resonate with all people. The problem is when we're trying to please the people who just happen to be standing next to us. Donna, the people that matter are the people that matter. The rest can eat green eggs and ham. LOL. Yeah. Yeah. The people, yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right. What is that Dr. Seuss quote? The people that matter will like you, and the people who don't like you don't matter. Right? Something like that. That's a really good lesson to remember. If they don't like you, they don't matter. That's exactly what I'm thinking about. It's energy. And the Ecamm works like shit. it's it's not Ecamm. It's Facebook. Yeah, Donna Marie. Here's what happens. We're in a Facebook group, and the Facebook group is private, so there are certain privacy settings to it. If I were doing these lives on my profile or my business page, those are public profiles. Nobody would need to click the Ecamm link to comment. But because the Facebook group is private, everybody has privacy in this group. So if you don't want me to know who's writing comments on my thing, even though I can go look at the Facebook post later, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But I can also broadcast it through the live and record it and stuff. So I guess there's that. If you don't want that known, then you can opt out of it by not clicking that link. So you have to give Ecamm permission through Facebook to do it. The problem is you do it and then it works for a while and then it stops working because Facebook makes changes to the privacy settings and then says, okay, everybody has to reset their privacy settings, and then you got to click it again. It's not that Ecamm doesn't work, it's that Facebook is trying to help you maintain your privacy. So I guess that's good, but it fucking annoys the shit out of me sometimes. It might be that the person who didn't like Christina or anything she was or did. What? Oh, Christina from earlier. Right. Okay, sorry. I know who you're talking about. It might be that the person who didn't like Christina or anything that she was or did was that way because he was not up to her standards. Well, that. You know what? I think that's what I was trying to say, Robin. But thank you for adding that point. He wasn't up to your standards, Christina, and was basically trying selfishly to make himself feel better by bringing you down. Wow, this is Robin. Why don't you come and do Daily Fuel with me sometimes? You're making good points lately. Forgive my using the masculine. Could just as well be. I get that. I hope Christina does as well. But right, so whether it was a guy or a girl doesn't matter. If you're acting a certain way to get them to like you and they're still putting you down, then what, consciously or not, that person probably knows on some level that you're better than them. And is putting you down to make themselves feel better. That's the only reason why somebody would be violent or put you down, whether it's physical violence or emotional violence. It's still violent, and the only reason is because they don't like themselves, and it makes them feel even worse to see you being so amazing. They gotta knock you down a peg to make themselves feel okay. Good one, Robin. Thanks for that. Confidence builds more confidence. It does. So you can. The reverse is true. The more you do this negative stuff, the more you feel you need to do it. You need to. You do the song and dance, and you get them to like you. Well, now you got to song and dance even harder the next time, and that can just keep going forever. But the reverse here, what he said, confidence builds more confidence. Once you start getting into your confidence zone. Well, I like that, confidence zone rather than comfort zone, right? Once you start getting into your confidence zone, then as soon as you start attracting people who are into that, you realize this isn't a song and dance. I don't have to do a song and dance to get them to like me because even if I'm literally doing a song and dance, it's just natural to me. You know, it's why I don't mind doing what I do in this Facebook group to get things going because this is what I do. This is me, you know, except when no one's here, I do it in my head. I don't do it out loud. I'm a complex man. Tony, hey, he's in the live. How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you. Welcome to Daily Fuel. It was my stepdad. Okay. It was a very toxic situation. I'm just glad to be away from it and back with myself, where I know I can be myself. Wonderful. I'm very happy for you. I have to heal from it, and that's okay. I don't talk to him anymore, nor will I ever let him have my time of day again. LOL. That's so funny. No, okay. I know what LOL means. It's a It's a self-comfort thing to just add that at the end. I get it. We're not laughing at it. Good, Christina. I think that's powerful and brave and courageous and strong. Good for you. Yep, be your weird ass self is my motto. Yes. Yeah, you say that a lot too. I like it. Uh, Christina meant to say my family. Autocorrect, man. What? What did you say? I don't know what you said. I have to know that. Okay. For, I don't know. I don't know what you meant to say, but it doesn't matter. Okay, Mikey, and who the F named it Hicksville? Oh, that's an interesting thing. Not really. So Long Island, where I live, Long Island, New York, used to be a lot of potato farms. It used to be all rural and stuff like that. And then during World War II, they were planning, we're going to have all these GIs coming back from the war, and they're going to need a place to live. So they started building row houses throughout Long Island, especially in Western Long Island, where I grew up. And so they started buying up a lot of these potato farms and building these row houses. The guy who designed them, his name was Abe Levitt, and that's why one of the towns was called Levittown, and the town next to it was called Hicksville because it was built on Hicks Farm. That's it. 20-minute explanation for that. It was named Hicks Farm. Here's a funny story though. So we're from New York, right? So New York, if you're not from America, New York, we're the Yankees. You know, like everyone, we're not the New York Yankees like the baseball team, but people call New Yorkers Yankees because we're Northerners, you know, in the United States. And when I was a kid, my dad was in the Air Force, and one summer he was stationed in Altus Air Force Base in Oklahoma, which isn't really the South, but it's way south and kind of over to the west. And we went to Oklahoma, and it was very not Yankee right there. And so they had their southern drawls, and they called everybody y'all and stuff like that. And here we show up, and we're talking like a mile a minute, and they're talking like this, right? And the guy who we were staying at a place, we were staying at a trailer park, and the guy who owned the trailer park was talking to us one day, and he's like, and he's talking about how we're from New York, and everybody there thought the entire state of New York was Manhattan, you know, with the buildings and everything like that. We're like, no, we don't live in the city. We live on Long Island in the suburbs, in a town called Hicksville. And his eyes lit up. He went, Hicksville? Hicksville? He could not tell enough people that these Yankees were from Hicksville. He thought it was the funniest thing in the world, and my dad immediately regretted saying that. And we never told another human being that we were from Hicksville in Oklahoma because of that. So I hope you think that's a funny story. Once again, I've told a funny story, and I can't see anybody's reactions. You might have all been like this halfway through, and I'm just yapping away. But let's see. Nope, you're all still here. So, yeah, by the way, don't leave in the middle of lives because I could see. I can't see if you leave, but I could see how many people are leaving. So put it that way. Yeah, Hicksville. Oh, that's what I mean. What you are describing, like when the kids ran all around the neighborhood. It was a village. So comforting. Yeah. I know. There were a lot of good things about it. It was a lot of fun. Just let shit fly out your face and not your ass, please. Okay. Good topic, Bobby. Hey, look who's here. Hector, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for sharing your thoughts. Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate that. I always love when people are here. And it's my favorite lives are the more people here, the better. I can feel the energy of it. I can always tell. The lips of wisdom are closed except to the ears of understanding. Oh, that's cool, dude. I like that one. I like that a lot. And we're at the end of the comment section, and I still got it without having to read it twice. Thanks. Hang on, Robin. What about taking off your pants to do the live? That's not many people are going to know the context of that comment. Remember, it's the story. Yeah. So today, Kelly Lorenz, our moderator, she did a post where she posted pictures of her daughter a painting, and she wrote a poem about it. And the second line of the poem was "Take off your pants and paint." And I made a comment about how I take off my pants to do Daily Fuel every day. And I was like, ha ha ha, I really don't. But then I said, I'll tell you a story because you see that I'm standing, right? So my monitor is all the way down here, and that's why I look down to see the comments because it's on my monitor. My camera that I use is a DSLR camera, my Canon camera. I can't show it to you because it can't see itself, but it's up on a tripod at face level, and I stand here and I do these lives. Now today, what I do is I have the camera plugged into the wall so that it gets electricity. But in my old group, I didn't have the plug, and I used to have just the battery in there. And one day, while I was in the middle of doing Daily Fuel, the battery to the camera died. And when it died, Ecamm automatically switched to the webcam on my monitor, and that monitor was pointed right at my crotch. And so I'm sitting here talking, not looking at the monitor, and suddenly I'm talking and everybody's looking at my pants. and I was like, thank God I'm wearing pants because that would have been a show nobody wanted to see. But so that's the story. I hope Kelly's watching in the replay. So, because I said next time you're on a live, I'll tell you. But then Robin saw it and was like, no, you're telling the story today. So here we are telling the story. So yeah, then I went on Amazon and I bought a plug so that I could plug it into the wall so that never happens again. And this is a different monitor anyway. It doesn't have a webcam. My webcam is pointed at the desk, so that can never happen anyway. It would just go to black now. But it was kind of funny. I looked down. I was like, what the fuck is that? I didn't even recognize what it was at first. I was like, what am I looking at here? I was like, that's my crotch. Okay, good. Let's move on. Go Hicksville. Yeah. Feed your son? Yeah. What time is it? It's 6:30. It's time to go get pizza and a movie. All right, guys, let's be done. It's boobs time. Let's see. Oh, and look who showed up. Hi, Kirsten's here. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. Been listening along to this one. Great live. Oh, good. Thanks. I'm happy to hear that. Well, people, Kirsten popped in and just stole the booby prize right out from nope. Okay, Robin gets it. Anybody still here? We're all still here. Oh, no, you're frozen. Oh, no, really? I hope not. Just us boobs. Am I not frozen anymore? Anyway, I don't know. Let's be done. So we'll see what happens. Maybe it was just you, Robin. Thank you, everybody. It's Friday. We'll be back on Monday. You missed the pan story? Well, watch it in the replay. I'm sure it didn't freeze in the replay. Hopefully it didn't. It didn't freeze on my phone, so I don't think... it might have just been you. Sorry, Robin. Anyway, yeah, so I was doing the live naked from the waist down, Robin, and everybody saw. So that's that. That's the story. Small boobs. Okay, you guys all get a booby prize today. It's Friday. I'm just booby prize happy. Here, everybody gets one. Have a wonderful weekend. I will see you on Monday. Thank you. Bye.